Well, international break is here. It's always good timing for that. We've gotten into the swing of things. Very calm first quarter of the Premier League, wouldn't you say, guys? Yeah. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight, that is Brad. He supports Chelsea. And down below, that is Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Gentlemen, hello. Good day. How are you all?
Hi. 3 points separating the top five. That's calm to you?
Yeah, very calm. Well, it was mostly said ironically and with sarcasm because it's been a quite tumultuous first 12 games in the Premier League.
I was going to say the PGMOL still exists, so calm will never be a thing.
So yeah, what we're doing tonight, what we got for you guys this week, a little bit different than we normally do. We're only going to have one episode this week because we are on the international break. So this is going to be our breakdown of last week's games. We're going to take a look at a couple of the matches in match week 12. We'll hit some comments before we do that, and then we will be done for this week. Check back next week. We'll have a preview for match week 13 that's coming up after the international break is over. So before we get into the meat of this episode, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell, wherever you're at, hit a follow, subscribe, whatever your platform allows you to do, rate, review, comment on YouTube, join our Discord, it's in the description. All those things really do help us out. We really do appreciate seeing you guys and hearing from you all. So
comments are enabled on Spotify as well for all of you audio listeners.
Oh, interesting.
Drop us a message.
I didn't know that Spotify had that capability.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's news to me.
We can add a question if we'd like to see if, hey, is anybody listening out there?
Yeah, I do skip that option every week when I upload it. I skip that option to add a poll.
In other news, there are a few comments. Jimmy hit us with a comment. He said, and I quote, the foul. He jumps with his arms on his back shoulders, impeding the defender's ability to jump for the ball. We have collectively, as a podcast, agreed with a blood pact not to talk about this anymore. So thank you, Jimmy, for the comment. We have all agreed to bury this hatchet. So we will move on to Kyra.
Yes. on air, because if you go into the text chat or maybe even Discord, it's spicy still.
We're still arguing about it today or yesterday. We were still arguing about it.
I am never talking about the situation again until the end of the season. There's going to be, I'm going to say one of two things at the end of the season. Either Arsenal were robbed 2 points or robbed a point. I'm going to say either Arsenal were robbed a point by the PGMOL in that situation, or I'm going to say that it didn't matter and we overcame the adversity of the PGMOL to win the league anyway.
Here we go. Okay. All right.
Wow.
I'm telling you now, you can book it in May. I'm going to say one of those two things.
Well, when you're off the title by 10 points, then were you just not going to mention it? It's just not going to come up. Like you haven't listed that as an option.
It won't come up. If we lose the title by 10 points, then it won't come up. But if we lose the title by 1 point, it will
your
come up.
phantom point that you think you should have. All right, Kyra had a great comment. Seriously, guys, another awesome show. I'm rooting for Chelsea strictly. Boo. So I can hear Brad's gloating on the next show.
Yeah, big boo to that, Kyra. You should never root for Chelsea. Never.
No,
that's
you should
your
always
first
root for
mistake.
Chelsea, Kyra.
Well,
fantastic idea.
Well, Brad. Oh, interesting. We're all wearing blue tonight. I just noticed that. Brad,
this is the correct shade of blue.
This is a random away kit. So, Brad, how do you feel after this Manchester City result? And guys, check the bottom line. We've got all of the on the ticker tapes. Got all of the results for you guys. But Brad, how are you feeling about this Chelsea result? You break it down for us. What do you see? What do you feel? What are your emotions?
Excited, hopeful, and robbed.
Robbed.
Explain.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Go ahead.
The first goal that Manchester City scored should not have been called. And when it was reviewed, it should not have been a penalty. It was a clear and obvious error because all he saw was the end of Cucurella like trying to get back in front of Haaland. What they didn't see was when Holland yanked Cucurella like he was Romero last year, 3 yards behind him like this, arm fully out.
So
and Cucurella tries to get back around.
So what Brad's
And that's what they
describing
call the
here,
penalty.
what Brad's describing here is there was a penalty in the first half for Manchester City against Chelsea. Cucurella and Holland are jostling in the box. Holland initiates. I would say he initiates the contact.
Yes,
and
clearly.
then Cucurella finishes the contact. If you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a weird one for me. I don't know how Sean feels about this. How do you see this one, Sean?
Well, I've been going to the James Church on the James Tiffany Church on contact and EPL games, and I think Holland possibly should be deported, and possibly Cucurella as well, because there's entirely too much hand jostling going on. We cannot have that in any of our boxes in any games. That's how I feel, but that's my official statement. They're not allowed to touch each other with their hands. All right.
I agree. And also, it had no impact on the play. Holland's not beating Thiago to the ball. That's the second part. Is Holland is not getting anywhere near that ball. Thiago's got it all the way.
That part.
I know that's not. I know that doesn't immaterial. Matter. I know. But he's not getting that ball.
I think for the simple fact that Holland initiates the contact, it should be a foul on Holland. He was the one that. Apologies for my cat. He just walks in the room, starts screaming, kind of like what Sean does whenever he doesn't. He just starts screaming.
Really insightful cat you have there.
Yeah, to me it should be a foul on Holland, but it was given, and he did put it away, and City go up 1-0. And you think anyone who's watching this game is like, all right, City's got their goal, they're going to score about 4 more. This game's over.
Yep.
That was not happened? The end of it.
That did not happen.
We came back 3 times in this game. 3 times City went up. 3 times Chelsea came back to draw it. I think last week I said I called 2 of the 4 goal scorers. I didn't call 4 goals, so that's why I didn't have the other 2 ready. Sterling and Nico Jackson. Nico is like a Drogba regen right now. He's just picking up all the garbage goals.
I knew Sean was going to roll his eyes here.
Drogba was like a poacher. Like there's the prettiest goal Drogba ever scored was in Bayern.
Yeah, I mean his goal was decent.
Off a rebound.
He did what he's supposed to do. I think Ederson and Manchester City are just frustrated with this result, because like you look at that one, you look at the penalty in the 92nd minute, like these are mistakes that Manchester City traditionally don't make, and they essentially gifted Chelsea at least 2 goals. And so it's like, if you're City, you're just like, man, like how did we lose this game? Because they feel like they lost that game. And I know the feeling. Like I'm sure that they leave that and they're like, man, we lost this game. Because
I know that feeling.
It's just we'll get there. Sean.
We'll get to that one. I can't wait to go there.
But not tracking Jackson. Ederson doesn't do a great job with that shot. You almost never want to parry the ball back directly straight towards the penalty spot. You want to try and push it to a side. I mean,
or behind the net. That's
nitpicking.
Where you want to go. But
that's nitpicking on my behalf. But you got to be mad at the center backs for not tracking runners, not tracking attackers, and yeah, that's just really. And then Ruben Dias with the penalty, like that's just so bad. Stay on your feet.
How cold is Cole Palmer stepping up to his old club, 95th minute stoppage time, and burying it?
It was a good penalty.
I saw an imposed video. It was a response to United Trey, who was trying to include. So I mentioned the top 5 are separated by 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
His post was trying to somehow include United, that it's the top 6 in
7 points.
7 points. Yes. And so I love when players do this. United team was huddling and Cole Palmer comes over and gets
The
in the
City team?
huddle.
Yeah.
It gets in the huddle, and then somebody shoves him out.
Holland pulls him out.
Holland shoves him out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it was like it was the five of us in a huddle. And then United trying to Cole Palmer was United and
Yeah.
you just get shoved out. No, you're not forcing United into this title battle.
I mean, they're
but
not
that is
they're not that far off.
No, they're not. But it's just funny to me. So yeah, F off to sixth place. You're in Europa. Go away.
It's kind of funny because if you look at the goal difference for the top 6, and you got City's 20, Liverpool 17, Arsenal 16, Tottenham 9, Aston Villa 12, Manchester United -3. And you're just like, wait, what? And then Newcastle after them is +14. You're just like, wait, what's going on here? What's happening here?
Yeah.
Chelsea, who are in 10th, have a better goal difference than United.
Yeah.
Like it's
even
just,
Brentford in 11th.
Yeah, it's hilarious to me. The United have the same goal difference as Everton, who are in the doldrums.
14th.
It's just
they came up though a little bit. I mean, like this, like we went toe to toe with the best team in the world, and came away with a point. Like why it should have been 3, and we've already. And I think I have your agreement in that penalty shouldn't have been there.
I think I agree with you that I don't think that the first one was a penalty.
So,
but I don't think I will hesitate to say that just because I think that wasn't a penalty, that we should just eliminate it from the scoreline and say that Chelsea should have won. I think that City should have won that game. I think that they gifted you 2 goals that you shouldn't have gotten.
And so to rebuttal, right? We've already said they were gifted a penalty, so that's 1 goal. And deflected goals are 50-50 balls, right? Like the deflection off of Thiago Silva is a 50-50 ball. Like sometimes it's going in the net, sometimes it's going wide, like it's supposed to.
Well, it depends.
There's 2 gifts.
If it's awarded as an own goal, then it's a gift because the offense had no impact on that. They didn't do anything to earn that. It was entirely lucky. But if it's given to the attacker player, then it's a good goal. This is Sean logic from a couple weeks ago. Is that if it's an own goal, offense didn't do anything to earn it.
That's right.
Yeah. Luck, 100% luck.
It just means he put it on net. Is what if he gets the goal? Attacking player he gets the goal. For those that listen that don't understand the rules.
True.
So an own goal is determined if the ball was not going on net on its current trajectory, and because of the deflection, it then went on net and into the net, making it an own goal. This was a deflection. It was going in the net. Sanchez was moving to save it. Whether he got there or not, I don't know. He could have. We'll say he probably would have. Because I don't think that's a far stretch because he was in the correct direction. Deflects off of Thiago Silva the other way. It goes in the net. So there's 2-2. All right, cool. So we're 2-2.
My goal for the week is to figure out how to clip our audio recordings because James, you didn't even notice. Brad said we played the best team in the world, admitting that Chelsea is not the best team in the world.
No, I heard it. I was gonna. My retort to that would have been he got 2 points off of the 2 best teams in the world.
No, he didn't say one of the best teams. He said the best team in the world is what he said.
I think you can make a claim for City. I think you can make a claim for City being the best team in the world.
Look, just because I think Chelsea are going to win everything doesn't mean I'm an idiot. City are clearly the best team in the world.
All right, Brad.
And this,
let's wrap this up. What do you Chelsea's last 5 games? Win, draw, loss, win, draw. So that's 8 points out of a potential 15. How are you feeling about Chelsea now, about a third of the way through the season?
Great, because if you go back like 3 or 4 games, it's been 1 loss in like 7 or 8 games in all competitions.
I'm concerned about the Premier League. I don't care about the EFL Cup.
I mean, even without the EFL Cup, like there's 1 game in there. Okay, so we're still 1 loss in like the past 7. So great, we are gelling. We're coming together. We're getting healthy. It's gonna be fantastic.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the first match of the weekend. We started with the last match of the weekend. We'll rewind time, kind of like how our ticker tape is now rewinding to the very beginning of the Premier League. The first game of the weekend was Wolves Spurs, and this game ends 2-1 for Wolves. They score in the second in 97th or something like that.
90 plus 1, 90 plus 5.
Yeah. So
90 plus 7.
interesting anecdote is that this is the longest time a team has been leading in the Premier League and lost a game, the longest number of minutes. So Sean, I think you thought this was going to end in a draw. Brad was the only one who thought Wolves would win the game. Brad thought that because he's a troll. But Tottenham have 1,000 injuries, and
yeah,
how do we?
Yes,
feel
I
about
wasn't.
this?
Oh wait, Sean, you can talk first. I'm sorry. I won't hog it all.
Since I kind of had a feeling that James was going to drop that
And your
that
retort,
little nugget.
you have one retort here, is that Arsenal were on top of the league for 93%.
93% of the league. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
And then you're going to pull out the fact that Arsenal have been the three longest percentage times without winning the league.
I was leaving it there
because
you led the league for 93% of the time.
You know that if you say that, I'm going to ask you when the last time you won the league was, or a trophy. And you're going to be like, well, I wasn't even a Tottenham fan when the last time they won a trophy, and
okay, all right,
they haven't won it. My yeah.
Well, I mentioned in pre-production, Brendan Johnson, who's been in the building about
6 minutes.
A cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You could tell he's drinking the Kool-Aid. He's all on board. His post-game interview said it felt like we took the foot off the gas. We got to go. We got to keep our foot on that gas. It felt like we backed off once we got the goal. And the whole locker room just feels like that might have been their kind of wake-up call. Like last week, you kind of feel like, we had 2 red cards. We were down 2 men. You gave up 2. You got 2 garbage time goals to make it 4-1. It really was a 2-1 game.
Yeah.
Like you, as a player, you can write that off. You can be like, all right, yeah, well, we'll move on from that. We got 11 again. Move on. It felt like this might have been our little wake up call to the entire locker room. It's got to be next man up, and I don't feel. Yeah, running a high line with Dyer and Davis is not. It's not sustainable. So hopefully that's not for too long, but I mean, it's going to be Dyer Romero in 2 weeks. So, or not 2 weeks, in 2 games. Got 2 games left on the suspension for Romero. It's going to be Dyer and Romero until January, because Van de Ven's not going to be back before then. I also said pre-production, I was extremely surprised that Ainge decided to go Basuma Sarr Højbjerg. I thought Basuma Sarr Bentaker or Hill would have been a better choice. He ended up subbing Hill on, and he ended up subbing Bentaker on. So that was interesting, but I felt like that could have been part of our issue, that maybe we weren't attacking enough. We got 3 defensive midfielders on, and no one that likes to go forward. Højbjerg can. I think he scored 5 or 6 Premier League goals last year in the league. He can and will go forward. It's not his innate instinct to do that. He's smart enough. He's an intelligent enough footballer. He can go forward. But I feel like the Madison hole was pretty big, and we're going to need to find a way to fix that pretty quick. And I think if Solomon comes back here soon, he should be back any week. I think we go Solomon on the left, Son in the middle, Johnson on the right, and Kulusevski as the third midfielder.
Interesting.
Because he is really creative. He has really good vision. I think that's probably the better way that we run that offense.
Not Lo Celso? Wasn't Lo Celso the one that came in for Basuma?
He subbed in, yeah. Lo Celso got a low run.
But wait a second. I want to respond to your comment first, James, when you called me a troll for predicting this loss. A, Wolves are at home. B,
Molino's a tough place to play.
That Korean guy.
B,
that Korean guy.
it's a Dyer Davies backline highline.
With Romero playing out of position, by the way. Romero left back.
You mean?
I'm sorry, Royal. It's a Royal
Mr.
out of
Royal
position.
left back. Yeah, Royal at left back. Like this seemed like chaos. This seemed like Wolves would pip it, would get the win, and they did. So I just want to make sure I got my statement out that it wasn't completely troll, because there was a lot of troll. Like, let me say this: there was a lot of troll because the Tottenham downfall slaps 100%, but there was some reasoning behind it as well.
My man,
anyways, that's your question.
My man's talking about the Tottenham downfall, 10 points behind Tottenham right now. So just throwing that out there.
It is. It is tough to beat any team in the Premier League. Missing four starters, and 3 of them are in your back 4.
I mean, it's tough. The big thing for me in this match is that's the 2 instances where Spurs let Wolves score, and I say it that way because I think that they result from just an instance of lack of awareness and concentration on Spurs' part, where they just dropped the levels slightly for just a second, and it gave Wolves just that little edge to be able to get the ball in a dangerous position. It happened on both the goals. The first one was off of a throw-in, and Spurs just weren't quite ready for it, and then the second one was a free kick in the middle of the park. Spurs are trying to go for the win, and they commit a foul at the halfway park. At the middle of the halfway, halfway in the field. All right, at the halfway line, they foul, and they just let Wolves take it quick, and no one stands on the ball. No one takes a yellow card for slowing the game down. They don't do that little bit of thing to try and stop Wolves, to make it difficult for Wolves to play fast. And Wolves play fast in 2 passes. They're down crossing the ball, and it's just tiny errors, and it's a team thing. It's not one person. You can't, obviously, like we like to meme on Eric Dyer and talk about him, but he didn't play poorly, and he's not at fault for the goals. It was a team effort. It was a team effort to allow those goals.
All right, so the first run is behind Dyer, but is that on Dyer? So that's a good run in behind. Is that on Dyer or is it on Davies, who's got to stay with him? And to push back on that just slightly more, Davies is on his hip. He just takes it one time and off the volley with his first touch, and then slaps it with his left foot before it hits the ground.
It's a great goal.
Near post. It's a great goal.
Oh yeah,
it's probably one of the top 5 goals scored in the league this year.
Unfortunately, the best goal of the season's already been scored by Mudryk. So
it has been. Don't forget.
Right. Well, I said top 5. All right, so I covered my bases there.
You did,
but it's an incredible goal, an incredible moment of individual skill, where a defender was where they probably should be. And Dyer, maybe Dyer could have anticipated the run and been in a better position to cut it off. We're splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, if he splits the center back, that's on both of them, and that's why it's a team error.
Yeah, but the second goal was the one. Where Dyer got flack for that too. If you look, there's an angle from behind the goal. Dyer was in the way. He had to kick the ball around. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the first goal.
Oh, Davies, yes. No, Davies was in the way. Dyer wasn't. Dyer was asleep at the wheel.
I'm thinking of the first goal. The first goal, Dyer was in the way. The ball had to go around Dyer to get to its location. So Dyer was where he was supposed to be.
Bro, the entire team was asleep on the second goal. The midfielders were asleep. The attackers were asleep. So don't just put this on Dyer. It's not all on Dyer.
Yeah, I've been hating Dyer for about 3 years. I've been waiting for him to go back to Sporting for a long time.
In Dyer, we trust.
You do trust.
Yeah. Last game that we're talking about tonight, we've got Bournemouth getting a 2-0 victory at home against visiting Newcastle. Wow. I would ask you guys who had Bournemouth winning on their bingo card, but interestingly enough, I have our bingo cards from last week. I have everyone's predictions from last week. And spoiler alert, none of us picked that. We all picked Newcastle, including Joel. And so that's a big result for Bournemouth. That's a great result for Bournemouth. Newcastle are one of the bigger teams in the league. That's a bigger scalp to get at home. But should we be surprised? In the same way that we're talking about Tottenham were without very key players. One thing that I'm sure Joel will bring up to us in the comments is the fact that Newcastle were missing a plethora of key players in this match.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Chelsea level injuries where it's like a whole starting 11 they could make out of their injuries.
And,
Yeah,
and
but you're also playing against like Solanke.
do a slinky panky, man. The dude's good. What are you talking about?
He's really good. I'd take him on Tottenham. I'd take him on Tottenham in January.
Would you take him at Chelsea, Brad?
No.
You think you take Jackson over him? Over Slinky?
Yes. Ambrosia.
50% of Jackson's goals came against 9 men.
No, we're not going back.
No. We saw Solanke.
We're not going back there.
I'll take Solanke.
He's a Cobham grad, Brad?
He's a Cobham grad, sir.
Put him in the column.
Gosh.
Put him in the column.
Oh my God.
Check mark. Cobham, greatest
Get those minutes.
I did look it up when he said that in the group chat. And he actually did legitimately was with Chelsea his entire youth career.
We sold him to Liverpool.
From 8 years old or something like that.
Yeah, we sold him to Liverpool, who then sold him to Bournemouth. He was the record transfer fee.
It wasn't like Kevin De Bruyne that he claims that they bought when he bought
I didn't claim that.
Like
Mohamed
19. It's a lie that he's like 19 years old. They bought him and he claims Cobham because he never made a first team appearance.
Todd did. Todd claimed that. I didn't claim that. Todd claimed that.
You did. All right, we're moving. See, we're gonna get arguing about this. Now, I think Joel would be in my camp. If he can't at this level, at the level I expect to be. We're not in Champions League this year, but Newcastle are back in Champions League. I expect to be in Champions League. James, you expect to be in Champions League. You cannot blame anything on injuries anymore.
You mean that's what Trippier did?
You need to have, well, sure, but he's in the heat of the moment. That's not fair to Trippier. You need to have a deep enough squad that you can withstand injuries and you can rotate the squad slightly. I'm not saying like Chelsea and City have, where you could just rotate 22 or more than that. You don't need to be 29 deep, but you need to have a solid 17-ish players, 17 to 20 players that can rotate.
I think if you ask most of the Premier League managers, they want 22 players plus goalkeepers. They want 22 outfield players that they feel confident could play in the Premier League. Plus outfield players. And Newcastle don't have that right now. And that was always going to be the big thing, is when they were in the Champions League, when if they make it through the group stage and they're still in Europe, whether that's Europa League or they make it into the knockout stages of the Champions League, when you throw in the FA Cup, like their schedule is going to kill them. That's what's going to hurt their league position, because they just don't have as deep a squad this year.
I'd be curious to know from Joel.
They don't have 17.
Right now, where they sit in their group is fourth, unfortunately. Would he take getting out of the Champions League? I thought they were fourth.
I think they're third.
AC Milan won, which put them fourth.
Oh, okay.
Which put Newcastle fourth.
Would he take getting completely out of Europe to be able to make Europe next year?
No.
If that helps them in the Premier League, would he? Because going to Europa is definitely not what Joel wants. He would rather stay in the Champions League.
I don't know. I think Joel is down. I mean, Newcastle haven't been in Europe in almost 10 years. Like being in Europe is good for them. Like, they want to be in Europe. They want to play in Europe. You only attract the best players if you're in Europe.
I'd be curious
Joel,
if I gave him the option that you finish fourth in your group, but you are guaranteed fourth, top four, or whatever, five, whatever makes Champions League next year. You're guaranteed to finish in Champions League next year.
But you're not.
What he would take.
But you're not guaranteed. That's the problem.
Look.
That's why it's a hypothetical question, James.
If Newcastle won the Community Shield, Joel would be on here sloshed celebrating like it was the Champions League. Homie wants a trophy. So if it's the Europa League trophy, he's just as happy. I promise
You're not guaranteed.
Europa League does guarantee you.
That's a hope. That's a tough one to win. Like, you don't just get handed the Europa trophy. It's not like that.
I mean, Sevilla's going to be there.
Conference League. Yeah, Sevilla's going to be down there. You're not just
Look,
handed the Europa. You're acting like if Newcastle dropped down, they're guaranteed to win it. No,
I
like
think they're a favorite.
Liverpool's
so
still in Europa, Brad. What are you talking about?
I still think Newcastle's like one of the favorites to win it.
United's
You
going to be
still go
there.
for the trophy.
United's going to be out of Europe. What are you talking about?
You still go for the trophy.
I think I think I would
I'd
always.
be interested to hear from Joel.
I'd want to finish third or second. I would not want to finish fourth.
If he could, I'd be interested, Joel. If you're listening,
Which he is.
Would you rather finish fourth in your group, but are guaranteed that you finish in Champions League spots next year, or would you rather finish third and go to Europa?
Well, how frequently do you make that offer to someone? Because like that, it's kind of like a cyclical thing, right? Like would you rather just qualify for Europe every year, or would you like to progress in Europe, right? Like at what point do we stop offering that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this like a one-off thing?
This is their first year back. Like, what do you want from them? You were so adamant it was going to take 5 years. I'm the one that said it would be quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're there now. All right, so your first year back. All right, it didn't go so well. Let's.
I like how Sean's the one throwing out the hypotheticals now. Whenever we ask him these hypothetical trophy questions, he's all in all that. It doesn't matter. It's nonsense. I don't care.
Yeah, it's nonsense questions.
Just want to make sure we got it out there with the hypothetical.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, since I have something that's not hypothetical here. This is the results from our pick'ems last week. Because I wrote them all down.
You ran it down.
And you get a point if you were right. You just get a check mark if you're right, and you get a slash if you're wrong. So if you picked a team to win and it was a draw, you get no points. There's no half points here. So in third position with 3 correct picks is Sean.
Oh, come on. 3 correct?
3 correct, yeah. You only got
I'm not even close.
You only got Arsenal, Everton, and Villa.
Wow.
You had a lot of things where like things were draws that you picked a winner in. So
that's so wrong. Yeah.
Tied for second with 5 points each, Brad and Joel, which means the person who was the most correct, who picked the most correct, was me. I got 6 correct. So take that for what you will. And also note that I would not have brought this up if I had not won.
We know that 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I was surprised that you even jotted that down. So
well, the only reason I was looking for this earlier today because I thought that my kids had ran off with it. I thought that Connor had taken it and run off with it and colored in it or something. And so I was like, I'm just not going to bring it up. And then as I'm getting ready to record, it's just like right in front of me where I left it last week. I'm like, oh, let me bring that up. So all right, that's all we got for you guys this week. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you guys think about all of this. We will be back next week with a look forward to match week 13 in the Premier League. Because after this international break, we are getting into silly season. It's silly season in England. Yeah. So gear up for that because it's about to get wild. Hit us up on Twitter. That guy is at KSBradG. Down below, that's at Whiteheart_Sean. I'm at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at Redcard_Radio. Hit us up on all the socials. Leave a comment. Join our Discord. We'd love to hear from you guys. And until then, we will see you all soon. I hope you all are safe. And talk to you next time.